Hey, I'm Daniel and welcome to a quick solo playthrough of Neon Rain. This video is part of my first impression series where I try each of the 12 different heroes, and I will probably follow it up with a full review once I see how everything plays out. And well, enjoy the play. Alright, and today we have Pynk against Blaquesmith. The star ability of Pynk is called Soda Pop. For 5 stars it deals 4 damage and also draw 2 cards to your hand. And for the passive ability we have Button Mash. When playing 3 buttons add 2 damage. And just to clarify, when playing it means when you actually manage to land a hit with those buttons. So for example, if you're playing 3 buttons but the opponent is counter those cards with a block, that doesn't count for the purpose of this effect. And for the CPU opponent we have the star ability called Forge Father. For 4 stars it deals 4 damage and also 2 strike. 4 stars isn't really that much, so it looks like he's gonna deal and trigger this ability quite often, which is pretty scary. And for the passive effect we have Enhance, add 1 damage to your green A buttons. And again, just to clarify, this only happens when this button on the attack, which means on the top half of the solo deck. So it looks like we have both damage dealing abilities, and the question is who's just gonna deal more damage first. Although to be honest, looking at those abilities I have a pretty bad feeling that this opponent might be just too strong for Pynk. Alright, as always, let me shuffle the decks on camera just to make sure that everything is clear and transparent and honest and unscripted and all of those jazz. So I'm shuffling the decks with the best of my shuffling abilities, so that I think should do it for this solo for the player deck. Now shuffling this solo deck as well, making sure it's all unscripted and random as you can get. So I think that should do it. Now I'm gonna draw 7 cards to my hand, and just so you could see them, I'm gonna place them like that. So that is 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, let's see what we can do. And it looks like I already have more than 3 buttons, which means I can potentially play 3 buttons to hopefully trigger this ability, or maybe alternatively I could play 2 buttons alongside the right joystick to also gain a star, hopefully. Although of course, while all the cards are still here in the deck, I think it's equal chance to see either throw or block, so either of those combinations can be easily disrupted. And since I have a combo breaker, I think it would be nice to save some of those buttons for adding them to my combo. So you know what, I think I'm gonna play buttons. Nevertheless, I'm gonna play 2 buttons of the blue color and 1 red color, and that would be my turn. So let's see what the opponent is gonna react with, and I'm gonna flip 2 cards because I'm playing on the hard mode, and yes, we don't have any throws or counter cards in general, which means my passive ability triggers, yay! So we have 2 damage here, 3 damage because of the combo here, and plus 2 more, that is 7 damage in total. Wow, that is quite a serious burst of damage. So I'm bringing the opponent down to 18 health, which is definitely a pretty good start, although I'm also taking 2 damage, but I think that is a fair trade. So I'm now down to 23, can't complain. Alright, so the opponent's block is resolved, and so is my attack is resolved as well. Now opponent is attacking, and we have 4 damage because this button deals extra damage when attacking. So should I use combo breaker? Oh, it's not a combo, so I cannot use my combo breaker. That is a little bit unfortunate, means I cannot actually play any card in defense, so I just have to take 4 damage. Yikes, that hurts a bit. So I'm now down to 19 health. This wasn't too good, to be honest. Alright, now back to my turn, and you know what, I think I'm gonna draw back to 7, because I don't think it's worth playing those 2 cards, and I would rather save this button for combo breaker. So yeah, I'm definitely drawing back to 7, so that is 5, 6 and 7. Alright. Now let's see what the opponent is doing. And well, we have this green button again, but we also have this joystick, which means that would be a plenty of healing. So you know what, definitely gonna use my combo breaker, otherwise that would be 2 extra healing, which I definitely would love to prevent. So I'm playing combo breaker, and I'm gonna add this button to this as well. And because of the auto resolution, I'm gonna resolve my combo breaker first, dealing 2 damage, bringing the opponent down to 16. Now the opponent is healing for 1, so that is 17 now. Also gains 1 star, and it deals 3 damage because this one deals extra because of the passive ability. So I'm now down to 16, which isn't too good. Alright, now back to my attack turn, and you know what, I think we still haven't seen any block yet, so I'm not sure if I should try my luck and try playing all those 3 buttons again, hoping to land my button mash ability, or should I draw? And I think I'll try my luck, so I'm gonna play all those 3 buttons. Let's see. Oh, of course we have block and we have buttons, so yeah, First I'm resolving this counter card block, and I guess it's up to me as a player to decide which buttons I'm gonna block, and I'm gonna choose this one to still keep this combo breaking. Not sure if this is legit, but hopefully I'm not making it too easy on myself, but of course again we'll see. That means I'm still dealing 5 damage because of the combo, bringing the opponent down to 12 health, but now also gonna take 1 damage back because of this button, so I'm now at 15. Alright, so this is resolved, and so is my attack. Now back to the opponent's attack, and let's see what we have. This is just a single up joystick, but you know what, I don't want to trigger this ability, so I'd rather play my throw, since next turn I'm gonna draw cards anyway. So yep, I'm just countering these cards, so it does nothing exactly, and just on my turn I'll draw back to 7, so that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, yep. And I got some joysticks that I could play in defense, this is pretty good. Alright, back to the opponent's attack, and we have a single joystick again, but you know what, this time I'm definitely gonna add my 2 joysticks to guarantee gaining those stars. So yeah, let me just rearrange these things a little bit, like that, and yep, the opponent is resolving their joystick, gaining 1 star and 1 shield token. Now I'm resolving mine, gaining 2 stars as well as 1 shield token and 1 healing, so this looks pretty manageable so far. Alright, this is resolved. Now back to my attack turn, and now the question is if I should play buttons alongside the right joystick or should I play another button, huh? There still should be quite a lot of blocks. Actually, you know what, let me quickly skim through this deck. Discard pile, we've seen so far just 1, 2, and yeah, that means there are still 4 blocks here. I would say it's pretty risky, but you know what, I'm just gonna try to lean on my passive ability, button mash, just to go a little bit maybe more thematic, just mashing all those buttons. So you know what, these are the 3 buttons that I'm gonna play. Let's see what the opponent is gonna do. We have throw, which is good, and combo breaker, which isn't too bad either, because that's still considered as playing all my buttons for this button mash ability. Yay! So that is 2, 4, 5, and 2 more, so that is 7 damage that I'm dealing with those cards. Of course, one of those is prevented with the shield token, but I'm still dealing 6 damage to reducing the opponent's health from 12 down to 6. This feels pretty good. Alright, and that's it. There's nothing else can do the opponent over here. Now back to the opponent attack, and wow, oh wow, that is 5 damage as well because of this combo, and because each of those buttons deals extra damage. Wow, that means I can prevent 1 damage with my shield token, but I'm still taking 4, bringing it down to 12. This looks pretty scary, I would say. Alright, I'm back to my turn, and I'm definitely gonna draw again back to 7, so that is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, back to the opponent's attack, and we have this little combo which it looks like I cannot do much about it, so you know what, let me just play a single joystick. Single left joystick is the only thing I can do in my turn anyway, so yep, the opponent is gaining first 1 star, then it deals strike, which means I'm removing the top card from my deck, and that is block. This is really bad. Now I'm resolving my joystick, gaining 1 star and 1 heal up to 13, but now I'm taking 3 damage because of the combo, so I'm now down to 10 health. Yikes. Alright, now back to me. And you know what, I think I'm gonna play both of these up joysticks alongside the button, because the idea is that if I land at least any of those buttons, any of those joysticks, sorry, I will get enough stars to trigger my ability, which means I would deal 4 damage, and that hopefully maybe this button can be enough to finish the opponent. Alright, so that is at least my plan. Let's see what the opponent is gonna do here, and that is defense token, which is really bad, and 2 damage back. Yikes, looks like no lethal damage this turn, but at least I can deal all of those combos, so it means I'm gaining 5 stars because of the combo, which means I now triggering my soda pop ability and still having all its 3 stars, so I'm dealing 4 unblockable damage, bringing the opponent down to just 2 health, and also drawing 2 cards to my hand. Alright, something like that. Now the opponent is resolving their joystick, gaining 1 shield token, which is really bad, but also star, which is now enough to trigger their star ability, so I'm removing all those 4 stars, and it deals 4 unblockable damage to me, bringing me down to just 6 health, and also doing 2 strikes. Yikes, that is 1 and 2. Now back to my button. I'm dealing 2 damage, but the opponent is blocking 1, so just having with just 1 health. Wow, and I'm also taking 2 damage because of this one, so I'm now at 4 health. Very close to lethal, both of us. Yeah, this one is resolved. Now let's see what the opponent is gonna do. And this isn't too bad, I think. Although to be honest, I would rather prefer seeing some combo, because in the combo I could play then my combo breaker, then I could add a button to it, and that would be lethal, but unfortunately I just cannot do that because that is not a combo. So the opponent is just gaining 2 stars and deals 1 damage. I'm now down to 3 health. Look at that. Alright, my turn, and you know what, I think I'm just gonna try to finish it off because I have just 3 health, so you know what, I think I'm gonna play this one, because if it disrupts my combo, my button, I will still be enough to gain stars to trigger my button match, my soda pop ability again, or if it's gonna throw my joysticks, I still can potentially deal 1 damage, which hopefully should be enough. Well, we'll see. The opponent is dealing 1 damage, this is fine, and this is throw, but that should still be enough because this counters my joystick. Then I'm resolving this joystick, gaining 1 star, doing strike, and then I'm dealing this last bit of damage. That means the opponent is KO, and I'm also taking 1 damage, but that is fine because we still the victorious of this fight. Yay! Phew, that was really close though. And that's it for today's session. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're curious to see more characters in action or hear my full thoughts later on, feel free to subscribe. And if you would like to support the channel more directly, you can do this over on Patreon, and I would appreciate this a lot as well. And well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.